Hi everyone, my name is Foss and welcome back to yet another video. Are you looking to upgrade your Pokemon stream experience? Well, look no further than Pokelink itself. What is Pokelink, you might ask? Well, Pokelink is a free-to-use software that uses your emulator's Lua scripting capabilities to create a custom Pokemon team overlay and automatically adjust it on the fly. This will allow you to spend more time playing the game and actually engaging with your audience that's there to watch your streams. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at how we can actually make this work. This software works with a variety of different emulators, but today I'm going to focus on the first 3 generations of the Pokemon games. So for these, we're going to have to use the Visual Boy Advance emulator. This is the only Game Boy emulator that can use Lua scripting capabilities. Well, at least at the moment. There might be more that come up in the future, at which point those will probably be okay to use with Pokelink as well. But we're going to take a look at the Visual Boy Advance re-recording specifically. This video is going to walk you through every step of the process, everything from actually downloading Pokelink to actually setting up your stream using OBS. So let's take a look at that. The first thing we're going to start off with is actually downloading the Pokelink software itself. I would highly suggest going into the Pokelink Discord to download this. This will also give you a place where you can ask some questions if you have them along the way. But if you don't want to do that, or if you don't have Discord, just download it using the link in the description below, and that should get you to the same point. So I'm going to head over into Discord and get this downloaded. So once you're in the Pokelink Discord, just go down to the public releases here. You'll see there's a post here by Jezebel, who is the creator of Pokelink. Just click on the download file here. It'll pull up your browser of choice, and you'll see here the Pokelink is downloading. So once that's all downloaded here, I head over into my files. You'll see that's in my downloads there. So from there, just right click on that, extract all. I'm just going to extract it into my downloads folder. I'll just delete the other one out of there. So with that, we have Pokelink and it's basically ready to set up. So once you actually have Pokelink downloaded, you're going to need to have an emulator to actually use with it. That brings us to Visual Boy Advance re-recording. This is a special version of the vanilla VBA emulator, which will allow us to use the Lua scripting capabilities. You'll find the download link for this in the description below, but to actually access it, we're going to have to download a free software called 7-Zip. 7-Zip is a software that's going to allow us to access a 7Z folder, which is basically a more compressed version of the typical zip folder. So to download 7-Zip, go to your browser of choice. Mine is Google Chrome, but use whatever you want to do. And type in 7-Zip download. This will bring you here, and you'll just choose the top option, which is download 7-Zip, and choose the one that matches your system requirements. So I have the Windows x64 system, so I'm going to hit download here. You'll see it pops up down here with a little execute file. If you click on that, give it access to your computer, and allow it to install. And once it's installed, you just hit close, and now 7-Zip is ready to run. So if I close back out of this, head over into my files here, and like I said, we need that 7-Zip to actually open up these 7Z folders, and to get that, follow the link in the description below to bring you up to this page. This here is a GitHub page with the VBA re-recording option. Down here, you're going to see under the assets here, it has the VBA-RR option, which is the one we're going to download. So just click on that. It'll pull up that 7Z folder down here. If we close out of our browser and back into our downloads here, we have that 7Z file. And now since we've downloaded 7-Zip, we should be able to just right click on this. It'll give us the 7-Zip option, and you can choose Open Archive. Once you have the archive actually opened up here, just choose what you need to actually extract, which is just these 2 Lua documents and the VBA-RR document. Just hit extract up here. I'm going to have it go back into my downloads again. And I can close. Now you can see that you have these files from a long time ago, which are the 3 files that we need to make this one work. From there, I don't need the 7Z file anymore, so I'm just going to delete it. And I'd like to rename this just for my sake, just so I don't lose it in the future. I like to put all the stuff in one folder, so I'm going to do that here. So I'm just going to do create folder, Visual Boy Advance, if I can type again. And I'm just going to put everything in there, why not? I want to put this somewhere on my computer where I'm not going to lose it. So I'm just going to move it over into my documents and have a special place for my Pokemon streams. So let's put it there. And now you see I have Visual Boy Advance in there with some other stuff I have. But the next thing we have to do is actually get some ROMs to play on our emulator itself. So with ROMs, the biggest thing is you have to obtain these legally. So to do that, you can download them, of course, anywhere online, but you have to make sure that you download a game they actually have in your possession. The 3 games I'm going to show you today are Pokemon Yellow version, Pokemon Gold, and Pokemon Ruby. You might be asking why these 3 games specifically? Because it's the ones I have in my possession. If you don't believe me, well, here's my Pokemon Gold, right there for you. And then here's my Pokemon Ruby, right there for you. And then Pokemon Yellow, of course, I have as a digital version on my 3DS here behind me. So that's why I'm focusing on these 3 games specifically, but choose whatever games you have in your possession. And if you do choose to use these ones illegally, well, I highly suggest not doing that. But if you are going to do it, definitely do not share that content to the whole world because it is, again, highly illegal. So with that, let's head over and actually play some games and see how it works with the Pokelink. Okay, so when I double click on VBA-RR, it's going to pull up the Visual Boy Advance emulator. You can see here that's a very small window, but let's just adjust that really quick here. I like to just do 3 times the size. So to do that, we hit Options, Video, and then 3 times window size. This is actually a very good size for playing the game, and it also fits the Streamlabs OBS setup pretty well as well. But once you're into that, let's make sure that the Lua scripting capabilities are actually working here. So if you click on Tools, you should have this option that says Lua scripting. If you do not, you probably downloaded the wrong version of VBA. So again, you can see Lua scripting, new Lua script window. If you can click on that and get this to pull up, we're basically ready to go and ready to actually connect it to Pokelink itself. So let's head over into Pokelink here and let's add a new session. Name it whatever you want. Let's play Ruby first. So if I type in Ruby, because that's where I'm going to name the session, I'm going to show you how to do an individual run. So I'll click on that. And we'll continue on to the setup. I want this to be all done automatically. I want to be completely hands-off as I play the game. So I'm going to do automatic party management. And now we need to drag our ROM into the actual play window itself. So again, go under here, find wherever you store your ROMs. So I'll go back into mine, find those. And like I said, we're going to do Ruby first. So if I drag it over here, it should pop up. It's going to show you that the game is detected. It'll tell you what it is. And it's going to show you the supported and unsupported features. So like that. Here we go. Hit confirm. It's going to detect your emulator. If it does not, make sure that your emulator is open. And if it is open, maybe close it, restart it, and choose search for emulator again. If it's still not fixing it or still not detecting it, go through from the very beginning, re-download Visual Boy Advance RR, and give it another try. So from here, we need to load this Lua script into the emulator itself. So if we hit this little clipboard, it's going to save that to the clipboard. Over here, we're going to paste it. And we're going to hit run. Nothing's going to pop up because we need to actually load the game in here as well. So if I go under my recents here, actually, let's just go from the very beginning. I will choose this option up here. This is Open GBA ROM. To find whatever version you're going to be playing. So Ruby, it's going to pull that up. And now if I hit run again, it's going to show you that everything downloads in there. It's going to say do not close this Lua script window. So of course, do not close it. But you can still minimize it. Get that out of the way. You can see here when I click out of the game, the emulation stops. So let's fix that here because it gets really annoying if that happens during your streams. So if I hit option here, go down to emulation, and or go down to preferences, there we go. And we can do enable background input. One more thing. We're going to go down to preferences again and then pause when inactive. Unclick that. So now, when I'm doing other things here, the game is going to continue to run. Also, if I have my controller set up, which I'll show you what or how you can do that here, then we can actually do the inputs here as we're messing around on like Streamlabs or something like that. But now it's actually waiting for the game data. So if I hit next here, I'll bring you to this last page. I'm not going to adjust anything here because it says do not adjust it unless you know what you're doing. I, in fact, have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to hit create a local server. Now it's waiting for all the information to come from the game and into the system here. So as the title screen plays here, let me show you a couple other things. So as we're playing along, we can adjust a couple different things as we're playing. We can do badges. So you can see here as I pull up the badges, as I click on these, they're going to light up. You can put this into a browser source part of your Streamlabs or your OBS system, and it'll help you track your badges as you're going along. Kind of a cool feature. It does not do this automatically, so you do have to click on them one by one. But as you do that, they will update in your badge web source. but I'll show you how to set that up here in a second. You can also go into the Pokédex here, and if you want to search for any specific Pokemon, let's just take a look at Bulbasaur here. If you click on Bulbasaur, it's going to pull up everything you need to know about Bulbasaur. This is a fantastic feature because it's going to show you when it levels up, what type of happiness it has, its catch rate, speed, all that good stuff is right here. It even has the breakdown of like damaging moves. Let's take a look at one more thing here. Go down to web sources. This is what the Pokemon are actually going to look like when they get pulled into your stream. And there's many different themes here that you can choose from. Of course, they each have their own little, benefits and other things, but you can select your theme. You can come down here and choose your sprite type. So you can go through here, all kinds of different sprites. Choose the ones that work best for you or the ones you think look the best. And of course, I'm a big fan of just the Generation 7 animated ones, but I don't have any Pokemon on my team yet, so you're not going to see anything here. Let's go down one more time here to the Nuzlocke tools. So from here, this is where we can track our deaths. So every time a Pokemon dies, it's going to show up on the list here as dead. And you can also track over here what Pokemon you've caught where. So every time you catch a Pokemon, it's going to pop up over here. So once I get my starter, Little Root Town will disappear, and you can move on. This way you can actually track which routes you can still catch Pokemon on when you're doing your Nuzlockes. Well, let's actually get this game going to the point where I have some Pokemon so we can actually look to see how everything looks as we play the game. But before we get too far, let's look at how to actually connect our controller here to the emulator itself. I do have another video on this specifically if you want to watch that. It's going to be linked in the description below. But this will just be a quick rundown. So to do so, with the PlayStation 4 controller anyways, you will need DS4 Windows. And once you have this, you're going to see my controller is connected to this. And it's going to be ready to go. So I can minimize that. Do not close it because then your controller will just disconnect. But to add this to the actual emulator, click on Options, Input, and you're going to configure controllers here. So I'll configure controller 1. And now since this is connected, I can just choose up, down, left, right, A, B, and then so on and so forth. L, R, select, start, speed up. And the other ones I'm not going to use. So I'll say OK. So now when I click A on the controller, or X in this situation, it's going to actually pull up everything it needs to work, I guess. But anyways, like I said, I'm going to skip forward to the point where I actually have some Pokemon, and then we're going to take a look at how this actually looks with Pokelink itself. So here we go. So at this point now, you can see that I've caught in a few Pokemon. So I do have Torchic, Wurmple, and Wingull on my team, and all the information gets automatically pulled into Pokelink. If I actually look at some of the Nuzlocke options here, if we click on Nuzlocke tools, and we go up to Route Tracker, let's say, we can go down here, and we can see that we caught something on Route 101 and Route 103. Of course, it doesn't give us anything for Little Root Town because, technically we didn't catch anything there. We were just given a Pokemon. But if I want to do is show only missing encounters, it's going to take away those ones that I've already caught something on. So again, it's a quick way to actually see what you have remaining in your Nuzlocke. But let's go back to, let's just say, web sources here. So again, now that I have Pokemon on my team, I can actually adjust how this looks with the theme. So let's choose a theme here. And the one I like to do is something very simple, but fashionable. So if I go down here, I'm going to do Rescue Team DX. And now I have my 3 Pokemon here. And this is the way they're going to look in my actual stream. And if I wanted to adjust a little bit more, I could just choose anything else. So simple circles, let's say. Or if I want a different sprite, go down here. Let's go down to, let's do Generation 7 animated sprites. Apply changes the theme. And I can see now I have animated sprites instead. So again, this is how it's going to look when we move it to the stream. So let's go back to the rescue team here. And let's add this to my Streamlabs setup. Now I have VBA set up. I have this overlay here that I made myself. It took me about 5 minutes to make using Canva and GIMP, which are 2 free use softwares as well. Again, all this is going to be done with free software. So it's kind of great and an easy way just to get into streaming. So you can see I also have my video set up here. So you can see me in the bottom corner here, the game itself. But otherwise it looks pretty plain. I do like to have up here usually my chat. So if somebody's chatting along, it's going to be popping up here. I like to keep my team down here along with the little notifications that come up. So let's add the Pokelink team to the very bottom of this screen here. So it's going to be down here. And to do so, we're going to click plus here. We're going to add a browser source. Add that. We're going to add a new source instead. We're going to name it Pokelink. So add that source. Now we need to add that URL from Pokelink into here. So let's go back into that. We're just going to click on this here. Going to copy that to the clipboard. Head back into Streamlabs. Paste that there. And I'm going to tell it not to shut down when it's not visible. So now, if I minimize this here, and I hit OK, or done, I see that my team is right here. You're going to see here, though, that if I add one more Pokemon, it'll be just fine. But if I add a fifth Pokemon, it's going to start getting cut off. So I need to adjust the size of this. So if I go into properties here, I'm just going to adjust the width a little bit. Let's just do 1200. That's more than enough space here. So now it's not going to get cut off as more Pokemon are added. Let's just lock it in place. And let's take a look at what it looks like when I actually change up the team. So if I just hit Pokemon, we're going to switch here. Now we'll just give it a second. And there, it automatically adjusts on the fly. Let's go catch something here. We'll let Wurmple die here just so you can see how it looks. So Wurmple's dead. Now let's finish it off. But you can see Wurmple turn gray on the bottom of our screen here. So again, another fantastic way to know which Pokemon are alive, which ones are dead, and again, to give some more life to the stream itself. So Wurmple's dead now. And if we go back here into our Pokelink itself, if we go back to Nuzlocke here, it's going to show under the death tracker, Wurmple has died. And if we go back up to web sources, death sources, it's going to show that we have one death. So again, pretty cool look. Or if you want to see which ones have actually died, you just choose static graveyard icons. And now you have Wurmple there showing up as a dead Pokemon. So again, something you can put on your actual stream just by using this URL and a new browser source. Let's go back down to Nuzlocke tools here. We do a route tracker and we need to catch something on this route here. So Zigzagoon, we do not have the team yet. So let's just scratch it once and catch it. Okay. Nope, not going to give a nickname to it. We'll just give it a second. And now Zigzagoon's on the team as well. So again, 100% hands off. It's a really cool look too. So let's move over to a different game now. Let's move over to Pokemon Yellow. With this one, I'm going to use a slightly different setup here. So instead of having the simple diagram at the bottom here, I'm going to have a more detailed diagram up above me here where I usually have chat. I'll just show you how that looks. I'll show you how to add the actual badges on the bottom of the screen as well. So let's skip over and into where we have Pokemon Yellow pulled up. Okay, so now I can see that I actually have my Pokemon Yellow pulled up here. And set up for my Streamlabs OBS, it doesn't really fit that well because this overlay was made for a Game Boy Advance game and not a Game Boy Color game. But again, that's something you can adjust on the fly. Just make your own overlay using whatever you want to use. But let's just take a look at adjusting to a different style or different theme for our party source here. So instead of having, what did we have before? It's like Pokemon Team Rescue Team DX, something like this. So if I want that, again, I could just copy this, put that in here, hit done. There we have the Pokemon Team DX. But if I want to switch up to something with a little bit more information, let's just choose something else. The one I like to use is Jezebel's Personal. Again, something that has a lot more information. If you want to keep these sprites, you sure can. If you want to switch it up a little bit and use something that's animated, again, I like to use the Generation 7 ones. Hit apply changes to the theme, and now you have those animated sprites in there instead. I'm going to copy this URL, go back over here, right click, go under properties, switch up the URL here. Now we're going to see that it's a lot wider than it needs to be, and it's not tall enough. So let's just change this, change it to 400, not 4,400. Height will just be 1,000. If I hit OK, we have that there. Put it wherever you want. Let's just put it up here for now. You can see here that it fits pretty well above my camera, but of course you can just adjust it as you need to right there. So let's lock that into place. Now let's add the badges to the bottom of the screen instead. To do that, we're just going to hit plus, add another browser source, and add a new source instead, and let's name this one Pokelink Badges. Again, we need that URL, so to find that, let's go up here, click on Badge Sources, select whatever theme you want. I'm just going to leave it as plain badges, because it's the only option. But click on the source URL, head back over here, paste. Now if I click here, I'm going to tell it not to shut down when we're not in use. Hit done. I can see here that the badges are right there. Again, it's much taller than it needs to be, so we can adjust that here. So height, let's just change it to 100. And there, now we have the badges. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And we're going to lock it in place. So now if we go back to the badges option over here, and as we click the badges on, they're going to adjust in the stream instantly. It's that easy to actually add the badges to your streams. So pretty cool. And again, most of these badges in Gen 1, you don't have to do in a certain order. So you can actually just choose them as you finish them. Because you forgot to do something right away. But there's all that. So now we have the badges added. The one last thing we can add is a little death tracker. So let's add that. Browser source, add source. We'll name this one deaths. And we need one more URL. So if we go back into web sources one more time, death sources, I just want the number. That's it. So I can do a basic death counter, copy this URL, put it in here, tell it not to shut down when not visible. And there, we have the death counter now. It's a little bit faded because I have it blown up so big, but there's that for you. And if we want to switch up a little bit, let's do some Pokemon icons instead. Again, I don't have anything that's died yet, so let's go kill something quick and we'll see how this looks. Sorry, Pidgey. You're going to be part of our experiment. Alright. So now that Pidgey has died, you can see here on the right side that we have Pidgey in our graveyard. So again, we can adjust how big it actually looks here. There's that. Let's unlock it, expand it a little bit. So there's our graveyard. And again, as more Pokemon die, they're going to keep showing up over there. Pidgey's going to gray out on the actual layout there. But these are the three different options you have. I'm pretty sure there's a way you can adjust like the size and everything of the actual Pokemon in the graveyard or the number in there. I haven't actually done it myself, so I'll have to look into that a little bit more. Maybe give you a little update in the future. But with that, these are all the different options you have for Pokelink with your Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance games. It's that simple to add it to your overlay and to make your stream a lot more visually appealing to your audience. And with that, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, let me know in the comments below. Also leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this in the near future. I will be doing a video on Nintendo DS games as well here very soon using the Desmume and the Citra emulators. So with that, please also show some support to Jezebel, who is the creator of Pokelink, and the rest of the Pokelink team, as they are, again, providing this to us for no charge at all. If you guys want to watch me abuse this software live, you can follow me on Twitch. Again, link in the description below. I'm currently doing a monotype run in Pokemon Platinum with electrics only, which is turning out to be much more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I will have a updated video of that in a full playthrough uploaded to the my YouTube channel as well. So again, hang around and watch out for that. But until then, guys, have a good night, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.